Guys, lovely to meet you. Congratulations on this. Really incredible work. Peter, I want to start with you because you're known, of course, for your role in Shattered Glass. You were nominated for a Golden Globe for that, another journalistic film. Did you kind of learn anything, or did you take any lessons from that role and apply it to this?
I would say it's more that had I not been an actor, I don't know that I could have been a journalist, but it would have been something that would have appealed to me. And I've known a lot of journalists throughout the years, and even before I did Shattered Glass, like a lot of my friends are journalists. And so it's always a profession that I admired, especially, when it's done well. And so actually when I did Shattered Glass, I knew Marty Peretz, for example, who was the editor of that. So like, it's always been something that was on my plate in one way or another. Yeah, it's helpful to know real journalists to play a journalist.
Because I was going to say, actors being friends with journalists, when does that happen?
All the time. We hang out with them often.
Yeah, we sort of do spend a bit of time with them. You can make friends with them. It just has to be transactional.
Well, that gives me, I'm all for non-transactional friendships, and that does give me hope. So.
Yeah, exactly. You're always in with a shot.
Actually, one of my, a journalist that is a friend of mine, and somebody I really admire, is Jeremy Scahill, who, I met him because he had a movie that was nominated for an Academy Award, and I met him at Sundance and stuff, and just got to know him throughout the years, and always really thought he was top journalist.
Well, I want to ask you guys, because on the subject of top journalists, doing this movie is, of course, this was very much, the subject matter is on the forefront of kind of broadcast, almost pioneering the sense of this big event in history. Learning about what goes into broadcast news and broadcast journalism, have you guys found a newfound appreciation for what goes into broadcast journalism and what goes out on air, and does it make you think, and make you watch the news a little bit differently?
I mean, just for me, it was like, John McGarrah got to spend a lot of time talking to Jeff Mason, and you did some time did you do some time in a control room?
I did my time.
My time.
Yeah, but just for me, it was talking to people. So I spoke to a guy who, it was actually a personal connection. My girlfriend is friends with him and his wife, and his name's Al Bergman, and he's Al Berman, and he's a sort of famous man in news, and he was a producer for Dan Rather, and just talking to him on the phone for an hour, just anybody's passionate about what they do, and I think that's something most actors tend to be. You don't tend to go towards it unless. You don't tend to do it and stick with it for a very long time unless you're a bit passionate about it. And I always find it exciting when I find someone in a vocation that they just wouldn't want. They would rather they wouldn't do anything else.
It's one of the great things about being an actor is that you meet people that do all these other things.
That's true.
That are more interesting than acting.
It's true.
So what is more interesting than acting? Because that's the thing. I find it amazing.
Everything you act. Right?
Everything.
Yeah, when you've been doing it for sort of 35 years, sort of almost everything is more interesting.
Yeah. But it gives you entree to all these other different things. I've been.
Shoemaking. I've been a shoemaker. I've died many times, literally and sort of figuratively.
Because I guess that is the thing with acting, is you learn about all these different parts of the world that you wouldn't usually know.
Yeah, like you become sort of semi-expert in weaponry and things like that. Swords.
Or like, I know I'm more of a prosecuting attorney than I am a defense attorney.
Yeah, I know I'm more of a tabloid editor than a broadsheet, but I read a broadsheet. But I definitely prefer working in the tabloid office.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean?
That.
We are so lucky. We are so lucky. Doctor, paid surgeons. You get to see people that do very serious jobs.
I should never have been in the military, and every time I played anyone in the military, everything that's in my head the whole time, I'm just going, "You're a liar."
Oh, really? So I feel at home in the army, and I've survived 2 world wars.
Well, I guess what this job is good for, it's a good confirmation of, oh, I should never have been that.
I think that's true. Like I spent a day in the New York Times editorial. I did their daily conference in the morning.
Yeah.
And it wasn't someone asked me if I wanted to go, and it was literally I was asked because I'd just played an editor on TV. I mean, that's embarrassing, isn't it? But I went and I was screened, and I don't think the editor who invited me in was particularly happy about me going. But once I was in there, that was one of the most exciting mornings I've ever had. Like, I genuinely thought, God, this is something I wouldn't mind. I think I would quite like to have done. It felt important. It felt creative. It felt important decisions had to be made. And
maybe that's what it is to be an actor, is that you get to look through someone else's point of view. I mean, that's what the love of acting is.
Yeah.
It's an interest in the world.
It is. It's curiosity, and it's living quite powerfully in your imagination. That's something I've noticed, that good actors that are very different kinds of people, but they share a curiosity about things that not necessarily everybody's curious about, and it's quite often empathy, and it's a serious enjoying of living in playing in their own imaginations,
Well, I wish I could talk to you longer about all of this, but guys, congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
Really amazing work, and it's been great meeting you both. So
You too, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to duck out.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
Lovely to meet you.